History is full of firsts.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Many of those firsts shaped our way of life. For 70 years, KPRC Channel 2 has been proud to be pioneers in shaping television and Houston history.
In a state the size of Texas, I hope everyone can enjoy.
Causing the storms Thursday. Minutes before 9 o'clock, the crew's here telling her.
This is the first time in a long they haven't let it. Send us some of your pictures.
Isn't it good to work for a place that has a sense of history? And indeed it is.
See, taking the president from Spring to College Station following.
If you have something you'd like Channel 2 Investigates to check out, call the tip line at 713-223-TIPS or email investigates@click2houston.com. Channel 2 News begins right now with breaking news.
That breaking news, a new flow of information about the coronavirus crisis right here in our area. 2 cases confirmed in Harris County, a man and a woman. The woman is a Rice University employee who had recently traveled to Egypt. That information just revealed in a news conference held by Harris County officials.
Also revealed in that news conference, the patient with the presumptive positive case out of Fort Bend County was on that same trip with that Rice University employee, and so was the other Harris County case. A lot of information coming out just within the last hour. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Keith Garvin.
And I'm Jonathan Martinez. We appreciate you joining us. Tonight, we also know this. The 2 Harris County patients are in the northwest part of the county, and the presumptive positive case in Fort Bend. Now, there are some questions now, conflicting information about where in Fort Bend County that patient is from.
We have live team coverage on the coronavirus crisis tonight. We begin with our Joel Eisenbaum live with the very latest from Harris County. Joel.
It's sort of a lot to sort out in all this after that 45-minute press conference that wrapped up at about 5:30 with some of our highly esteemed officials giving us information, but I think pretty thin information. The overarching headline here, in my opinion, is that these 3 cases, 2 of them, the Harris County cases confirmed by CDC, the Fort Bend County case not yet confirmed by CDC, all of them share a common thread, and that is this trip to Egypt, a trip that returned to the Houston area, we're told, in late February. When we asked for further specific information regarding flights, exact dates, who else was on the trip, we didn't get any of that. They said that is not at this point public information. We do know that this man and woman, and again, they would not confirm whether this man and woman are a married couple, only that the woman, and it took some prying to get this out, is a Rice University employee. Her presence at Rice University, I should say, we got a release from Rice University that stated that there are some people who are sort of keeping themselves out of public view, self-quarantining, I guess would be the proper way to put that. These Rice University students, a handful of them, none of them have shown any symptoms at this point. That's according to Rice University. In terms of this woman and this man, the Harris County cases, these people, unclear to me if they live together, but they are from Northwest Harris County. They are both listed in stable condition in the hospital. And we did get some other information from Judge Lena Hidalgo. Let's hear from her.
These folks were all part of a trip to Egypt. They are part of a larger group that we're aware of that are now under self-quarantine and have been under self-quarantine and are being tested.
Have the people on the flight that came back with them, people who are Houston or Houston area residents, been notified?
We're working with our federal partner, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, as you can imagine, to assure that anybody who may be at risk from the potential confirmation of a case, which, by the way, just so we can make this clear, the testing was sent earlier this week, and we received the results just back this afternoon. So we are part of that process of determining if there are anybody else that we need to be worried about.
Yeah, so in my opinion, I did not get a direct answer to that question. The question being, has everybody else who was on the flight with them been notified that these people have tested positive for coronavirus? I did not get a direct response to that question. There are also a lot of other questions that include exactly how many people came into contact with these folks. What degree have they been notified? Those are questions we didn't get specific answers on, but what they wanted to underline, the important point that I got from this, is that this was not community spread, meaning they are able to tie back each and every one of these cases to this trip, to these people specifically. For now, we're live at TransStar. I'm Joel Eisenbaum, KPRC Channel 2 News.
All right, Joel, keep us updated. Thank you, sir. As Joel just mentioned, Rice University issued a statement. It says in part, quote, Harris County Public Health notified Rice officials this afternoon that the university employee who was self-quarantined tested positive for the novel coronavirus COVID-19.
The statement went on to say the other Rice doctoral students, faculty, and staff, a total of 17 individuals who are currently in self-quarantine, have been notified. They remain in self-quarantine, and none has reported symptoms to date. And we want to zero back now on that presumptive positive case in Fort Bend County. There are now questions about where in Fort Bend County that patient lives.
A lot still developing at this very hour. Let's continue our team coverage right now with Marianne Martinez. She's live in Fort Bend. Marianne?
Jonathan, in an effort to bring our viewers the most accurate information, we were triple checking some information given to us by the city of Stafford with the Fort Bend County Health Department. What they tell me is that they are in the process of sending out a press release clarifying, if not contradicting, some of the information that was given by the city of Stafford earlier today at a press conference, where they said that this presumptive patient who we're waiting back those CDC results out of Fort Bend County for coronavirus, they identified him as a man living in Stafford. The Fort Bend Health Department tells us that is not the case. There is only one person believed in Fort Bend County to have tested positive for COVID-19, and that person does not live in Stafford. Out of an abundance of caution, we're going to let you listen to what was said in Stafford and also what the Fort Bend Health Department is telling us.
Everybody that responded to that scene used the appropriate PPE, gloves, etc.
The Stafford Fire Department trying to reassure the public that 2 Stafford firefighters and 2 Fort Bend EMS staffers who responded to a man's home suspected of having coronavirus were not exposed. Those firefighters are not under quarantine.
CDC guidance dictates for fire and EMS that obviously until such time as you become symptomatic, hopefully that doesn't occur. It's business as usual per CDC guidance. And then obviously if that occurs, then we take the next steps.
But that's not what's happening with 10 other people the patient came into contact with. Those friends, family, and associates are under self-quarantine at home.
For them to remain home and for those 14 days to see if they develop any symptoms. If they do, of course, they would be tested.
Those 10 people have not been tested. They will only be tested if they show signs of coronavirus. There is still much we don't know about the man presumed to have COVID-19 who traveled outside the country. Fort Bend County will not tell us where he traveled to, what airport he flew into, any places he went, or people he saw before he called 911.
There's HIPAA, there's a couple of state mandates that we just cannot share personal information about this individual. And just remember, this is one case. You know, there's any little information that we do share, it's going to point to this one individual. And right now, we just did not want to do that.
Now, again, we are expecting a statement from the Fort Bend County Health Department regarding the information that was given to us and, quite frankly, to the entire media here in Houston about this person in Stafford. Again, they're telling us it's not correct information. And of course, we will bring you the most correct information as soon as we get it. Reporting live from Stafford, Marianne Martinez, KPRC Channel 2 News.
Marianne, thank you for the clarification. Parents, we are keeping in touch with school districts to find out what they are doing to protect students and staff from the coronavirus. The statement from Fort Bend ISD reads, in part, Fort Bend ISD has continued to be in communication with our regional public health partners regarding the coronavirus outbreak. Student Health Services is passing along all updates to our school nurses on a regular basis. And at this time, they said in this statement there were no confirmed cases in Fort Bend County.
Meantime, HISD's statement reads in part, quote, we are in contact with the Centers for Disease Control and will conscientiously follow their recommendations. We continue to encourage good hygiene practices and will follow appropriate assessment along with monitoring protocols for students and staff who report feeling ill.
We have responses from several other school districts: Humble ISD, Conroe ISD, Katy, Alief, Cy-Fair, Klein ISD, Aldine, Spring Branch ISD, Pearland. All are on our homepage right now at click2houston.com.
And of course, all of this happening right before spring break for many school districts right here in our area. And that is why we are asking this question in our Click to Vote poll today. Will you change your spring break travel plans due to the coronavirus? And we want to reveal those results a bit later in this show, or actually right now.
Yeah, and we see that 68% say no, they will not be changing their plans because of coronavirus. So we'll see if that changes in the next few days.
Top of mind for a lot of people, though.
For sure. All right, we want to turn to our weather now. It was the coolest day we've seen all week, also the driest.
Frank is here to tell us a little bit more with the first look at the forecast.
You know what? It started right there in the mid-50s, and look where we ended up. Right there in the mid and upper 70s. 75 at Bush, 79 at Hobby, 71 Galveston. A lot of dry air, so it's easy to heat up. That's what we did, but it's easy to cool down. Already getting into the 60s. 68 Columbus, 69 Cleveland, Huntsville, Brenham, Galveston at 68, 71 in Houston. This north wind bringing in that dry air. So that's going to continue. If you're headed to the rodeo, you're in nice shape. Look at this. Becky G is in the house, 69 at 7, 61 at 9, and 57 at 11. You might take a light jacket, but all in all, pretty good shape. As we head into the overnight, lows down into the upper 40s. We'll have more specifics on your neighborhood coming up. In the meantime, this front, it's a dry front, but it is reinforcements for cool air as we go into Friday and especially Saturday. Your full forecast straight ahead. Keith?
All right, we'll see you then, Frank. Thank you. New legal action tonight involving the Santa Fe High School school shooting. Families of the victims are suing an online ammunition company. The claim that the company sold more than 100 rounds of ammunition to Dimitrios Pogorchis without verifying his age. Channel 2 investigator Robert Arnold live in Galveston County with details on that civil lawsuit. Robert.
Attorneys for family members of those either murdered or injured during the mass shootings at Santa Fe High School say Dimitrios Pogorchis started buying ammunition about 2 weeks after the mass shootings in Parkland, Florida. And now this lawsuit, as you mentioned, does name an online retailer of ammunition. At 17 years old, Dimitrios Pogorchis was not allowed under federal law to buy ammunition. However, a lawsuit filed in Galveston County Court reads he was able to make those purchases through an online retailer called Lucky Gunner. The lawsuit reads Pogorchis bought handgun and shotgun rounds through the site. The 17-year-old did not need to produce any identification or provide proof of age to complete the purchase, and his order was approved in 2 minutes, the lawsuit reads. Federal law prohibits the sale of handgun ammunition to anyone under 21 and shotgun or rifle ammunition to anyone under 18. However, the law does not require the seller to check a person's ID before purchase. Neither does Texas law. Instead of designing a website that allowed them to verify the purchase age for every customer, the Lucky Gunner defendants made a decision not to ask for proof of age unless the shipment was destined for a small handful of states where certain proof is expressly required by state law, court documents read. In a statement to KPRC, the mother of Christopher Stone, Rosie Stone, writes, "Everybody who had a hand in our son's murder, we will fight to hold each and every one of them accountable." And attorneys for those family members say, based on their research, it appears Dimitrios Pogorchis used his real name and American Express gift cards to make those purchases. They say that they found that all he did, according to their research, is check a terms and conditions box that agrees he was not younger than 21. Reporting live from Galveston County, Robert Arnold, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
Robert, thank you, sir. Harris County Commissioner Rodney Ellis is responding for the very first time to our story about hundreds of pieces of African art stashed in a county maintenance shed on taxpayers' dime. Channel 2 investigator Mario Diaz broke this story just last month, and Ellis has since refused to answer any of his questions about who owns all of that art. Only Channel 2 captured video of the art inside the shed and showed you exclusive video of Ellis showing it to people, including some kids who were seen climbing on a couple of those pieces. Well, in a statement tonight, Ellis says he has no financial stake in the art and that it all belongs to Sam Najurnia, who signed a 2-year loan agreement with the county for 14 pieces of the art back in January of 18. That collection has since grown to more than 1,000 pieces. But Ellis claims the original loan agreement was never updated. Ellis says the collection is part of Precinct 1's broader public arts initiative.
We have some Rodeo Houston trivia for you tonight. What the next 3 performers have in common. That's coming up.
All right, the Rockets season down to its final 22 games tonight. A big test as they welcome in the second-seeded and red-hot L.A. Clippers. What head coach Mike D'Antoni says about the key to a win tonight. We're live at Head Sports.
And it's being called the largest animal cruelty seizure in the history of Fort Bend County. Just how many animals and the cost for this massive rescue operation next on Channel 2 News at 6.
You're watching Channel 2, Houston's home for news.
You see them here on the news often, those large animal seizures, but what you may not realize is they can be costly. Fort Bend officials revealing tonight that an animal rescue there last week cost about $100,000. That includes the transport, the treatment, and boarding of the 227 animals seized. We reported on the raid near Katy on Friday. Well, today those officials gave an update on possible charges.
At this time, the person that owns the property is not under arrest. They are a suspect in our case, and until we receive the full medical reports from the medical staff, at that point we'll determine what charges to file, and then it'll be up to the district attorney's office to review that.
Among the animals seized in that raid, dogs, cats, birds, and turtles.
Tonight at 10, Channel 2 investigates looking into where people get their information on politics.
I get it from Facebook or Instagram, social media. I get it from the local news at night, the national news sometimes as well, family, friends.
Now you can spot the difference between what's true and what's fake. That's coming up tonight at 10.
All right, let's talk rodeo. Night 3 is going to be getting underway shortly.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Kicking off with a series of firsts for artists on the revolving stage. The next 3 artists will all be making their rodeo debuts. Becky G gets the spotlight this evening. The singer-songwriter and actress is a 4-time Latin American award-winning artist, and she's made it clear to all of the fans she is super excited to perform in front of this rodeo crowd.
And more debuts ahead. Tomorrow night, Chance the Rapper will perform at Rodeo Houston for the first time.
And on Saturday, it's country music star Maren Morris's turn to make her debut on the main stage.
Okay, let's first talk tonight, though. What's the weather going to be like for people heading that way?
I think they're in pretty good shape.
Looks like it outside.
Well, we didn't talk much about the carnival, but gosh, how perfect for that.
It was nice. I was doing the Golden Foodie Buckle Award, doing all the funny food out there, Tessa. And I was out there and I walked out. I was like, I don't want to go to work today. It was just too beautiful. I saw the families out there in the carnival.
Do you have a favorite fried Snickers? Or
No, there was a chicken on a donut. Don't ask me how many calories there were in there. Holy moly.
You don't want to know.
You don't. I'm wearing a bigger suit right now as a result of it.
A sign
it was really
of spring,
good.
chicken on a donut. Just like the monarch butterflies hatching in the backyards in Cypress,
That's a pretty
Texas.
picture.
Isn't that
pretty
nice?
butterfly.
Very nice. All right. In the meantime, look at that sky. 70 degrees right now, 38% the humidity to speak of. I mean, it's just so dry out there with that north wind at 9. And look at that sunset right now live in Galveston. Just perfect. 68. North winds there at 8. The humidity, again, hard to find. The upper 60s, low 70s. So we're going to dive right into the 60s pretty quickly as that sun goes down, and then into the 50s by 10, 11 o'clock, as you'll see. So the humidity, 27, 26, 28. Take your pick. 30 at Hobby, 36 at Angleton. It's nice. nice. It's dry. The winds are north. They're beginning to calm down, in fact, a little bit. 9, 8, 6 miles per hour, a little stronger out toward Hobby and Anahuac, where we still have some wind gusts to 23 and 21. But it's going to be a calm, clear, cool night. So count on that. 7 o'clock, we continue to see those temperatures in the low 60s and 50s. By 11, we're in the low and mid 50s, and then overnight right down into a lot of upper 40s, even mid 40s. Huntsville at 44, Cleveland 44, 49 in Conroe, 50 Tomball, 51 downtown. So waking up to kind of a jacket weather morning, and then forgetting the jackets at school because it's going to get right up there into the 70s again, 73, 74 degrees. But there is a front coming through, which is just going to reinforce all of that cool air. You can't even find it on the satellite pictures. So if you look at the this water vapor, that's it right there, where just a little bit of a distinguishing line. So that's about the only thing you can tell, except that we're going to continue to get the cool air in here as we go into the weekend, especially for Saturday. So tomorrow, that high continues to push across, and it's going to be nice and calm. We finally really start to warm up Sunday. So that warm flow will continue into next week, and the jet stream is going to be in West Texas. So between the two, that starts to squeeze out at least some chance of rain, 20% Monday through Thursday. Better chance of rain as we get into Friday of next week, but it's going to be pretty quiet for most of the week. So the power planner tonight from the 60s and 50s right down into the 40s, pretty good for the hair, so no problems there, just hat hair from the cowboy hats is about it. High tomorrow 74, but only 68 on Saturday because of that dry front coming through. Temperatures both mornings 48 degrees. Sunday, there's the warm up beginning, 72, 4, 76, 78, 80 degrees by Thursday. Better chance of rain by Friday. All right, sports is next. Stay with us.
Selection.
All right, welcome to the Xfinity Sports Desk. Tonight we start with the Astros in Florida. 5-0 win over the Red Sox. Big day for Josh James. 3 shutout innings in his start today. Meanwhile today, MLB assistant to the commissioner Joe Torre was in town. He was asked if the Astros can actually overcome the backlash they're set to receive this year.
It's not a matter of if they can, they've got to. I mean, it's, you know, you can all, you know, feel sorry for yourself and do all that and woe is me, but that's not going to get you anywhere, and I think Dusty is the man to remind guys of that.
Well, this spring, the Astros players have been hit, whether intentional or not, 7 times already. There is talk more is coming in the regular season. Here's Torre on his stance on that.
First of all, I have more trust in baseball than that. I'd like to think that the goal of each team is to win ball games. And if we go into a series or a game, you know, with the intention of hitting somebody, then obviously we're not thinking about the right thing when you put on the uniform.
All right, Torre was at a team ceremony dedicating the new Bob Watson Education Center at the Astros Youth Academy this morning at Sylvester Turner Park. The center will provide a classroom environment year-round now for youth and family activities.
I've always wanted to put the uniform on and take it off with pride. I always wanted to pass on what I understood about baseball, and this building will be a part of that.
All right, Rockets back home tonight at Toyota Center. 22 games left. It starts with the big showdown against the second-seeded LA Clippers. Ari Alexander live with a preview tonight. Hey, Ari.
Hey, Randy. Important game tonight for many reasons as we are here at Toyota Center. Gordon taking shots behind me. 2.5 games out of the #2 spot in the Western Conference is where the Rockets are behind the Clippers. Plus, it's a playoff preview tonight. Possibility of Rockets-Clippers in the playoffs this year. I asked Mike D'Antoni how these two teams match up when it comes to small ball.
They got good players. You know, Montrez is playing unbelievably great. You know, he's hard to guard. But they just have a lot of great players that make shots, make plays, good defenders. So they're just a really good team, but I don't think they do anything different than what we do.
Yeah, a special one tonight because this is one of the top superstar battles you'll see around the NBA. James Harden and Russell Westbrook taking on Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and the rest of the Clippers. Tip-off 7:15 tonight on TNT. Should be a really good one here downtown. Reporting live at Toyota Center, Ari Alexander, KPRC, Channel 2 Sports.
All right, Ari, appreciate it. He'll be down there for postgame as well. It is a big test. They need 22 left. They need to win it tonight.
Make it that home stretch.
Yes. Superstar shootout, and we got to get it done. All right, thank you for that. We're back in a moment.
Gardens.org.
All right, boy, beautiful day it turned out to be.
A little outdoor dining,
Yes.
perfect. I know it's nice out there. Pretty sky, temperature is 69 at 7, 64 at 8, and 61 at 9. So it's going to be a cool morning despite those 60s. We'll look at 48 to wake up to. Then 74 tomorrow, a little cooler on Saturday, a nice Sunday.
Okay. Looking good.
Yeah,
All
looking
right.
very good.
Pay that weatherman.
We'll take it. Entertainment Tonight's coming up next.
We'll see you at 10.